We thank you for participating in this new way based on your present circumstances, which we will address forthwith. We have recently, in a previous transmission, talked about the idea of the eye of the hurricane, and we talked about how your year of 2020 would be chaotic, like you are being surrounded by a storm, and the encouragement to stay in the center where things are calm so that you can deal with all of the happenings that you may not be used to, that may seem chaotic all around you, swirling all around you, thundering all around you. But by remaining in that center, in the calm space, you will be able to handle what comes. Now, we are addressing the idea of the eye of the needle, for this is the center point, energetically, of this passage that you are experiencing right now. And as we said during the eye of the storm, that your year of 2020 would be crazy, would be nuts, you are now experiencing things you thought you would not experience in your lifetime. And therefore it is most important to understand a few of the things that have created this circumstance and the things that you need to do to pass through the eye of the needle and come out the other side, stripping away those things that are no longer you, truly letting them go so that you can emerge on the other side of the eye of the needle, on the other side of this passage, as more of your true self. And that also implies the idea of a higher ability to eventually experience contact with us. For without stripping the things away, you will not fit through this narrow passage of the eye of the needle sufficiently to be able to interact with us clearly on the other side. Let us begin by listing just 3 things that are of paramount importance with regard to the circumstance as it exists and why this has come about. Number 1, some time ago we told you that everything would change in the fall of 2016, and obviously, in many ways, socially, politically, economically, it has. And now that you are in the midst of it, squarely in the center of it, you will find that one of the reasons for the present experience of your pandemic is because the kinds of changes, many of which were based on fear-based beliefs, have spread around your planet, again, socially, politically, in such a manner as to depress the collective immune system of the people of your world. The uncertainty, the stress, the negativity that has been put out from various sources on your planet, around the globe, has stressed the energetic and physiological immune system of the people of your world to the degree where opportunistic organisms, such as viruses, can more readily take hold and spread more quickly, more easily around the globe. So the idea in passing through the eye of the needle is to truly let go of being affected by what others may be putting out that is vibrationally incompatible with what you prefer to be and the world you prefer to experience. And even though, remember, that you may still hear them and see them, they do not have to affect you until you agree to be affected. So this is an important time for you to truly get in touch, get a hold of your own fear-based belief systems, let them go, and replace them with ones that are strong and in alignment with who you are, so that your immunity will not be affected in the way that it has been during this circumstance, during this time. In the depression of the collective energetic consciousness physiological immune system, you will find that this will continue for a little while. But as we said, you are in the center now of this passage. The amount of time you have already spent in it will approximately be the amount of time you will continue to spend in it until such time as you arrive on the other side of this passage. Even though the analogy of the eye of a needle may seem that the passage through the eye would be short, remember that you exist in a world of space-time, and therefore things will stretch out a little bit, giving you the opportunity to work with your belief systems over the course of a few months, before the eye and after the eye, as we have said, to give you time to get in touch with these things, to go through the processes you need to go through, and to let go of the things that no longer serve you. But again, I say to you, you have to remember that what you do not let go of that is vibrationally incompatible with the world you prefer, and in particular with regard to contact with us and other beings like us, you will find that if you do not let them go, once you arrive on the other side of the eye of the needle, it may be more challenging for us to make connections with you. You may find us fading in and out. You may find that there are certain times when it will not be possible for us to come through to the variety of versions of Earth that are not stripping themselves cleaner than the others, allowing us to then match the frequencies with you that would be representative of continued contact. So there will be consequences of holding on to belief systems that don't serve you with regard to contact on the other side of the eye of the needle. Now, the second thing that is important to understand that brought about the circumstance you are experiencing with regard to the pandemic, again has to do with your relationship to Earth and the destruction that humanity has created in many of the ecosystems, ecological niches upon the Earth. Because when you destroy certain ecological systems that contain these viruses, and they are no longer held in check by the system that was there naturally, maintaining themselves within that environment, within the animals that are now depleted because their ecological environment has been destroyed, you are affording the virus more opportunity to find new hosts, which means you. For they can no longer find sufficient hosts in the animal kingdom or the tree kingdom to contain them within those ecological environments. So you have removed, through massive destruction of ecological systems, the barriers and the environments that would contain the viruses you are now experiencing. So this goes hand in hand with the idea of fear-based belief systems, the ideas of lack, insufficiency, the idea of rampant destruction, the idea of disconnection from nature has had a paramount effect on your experience with the idea of opportunistic organisms that have created and can create more pandemics on your planet. Until such time as you allow yourselves in the world in which you prefer to exist to take the actions necessary to restore some of those systems and bring balance back to your world. The third thing that we will address regarding the present situation that can be used in a very powerful and positive way is the fact that you have now placed yourselves in a type of isolation environment. This will be equivalent to the idea, this sequestering of the compression that we have spoken about before, so that you can transform the energy not into depression, but into compression, isolating yourselves, withdrawing yourselves into the center of your being, so that you may have the time and the space and the environment to stay within yourselves and process and let go of those fear-based belief systems you have been carrying with you like a disease for so many years in your lives. It is time to truly strip yourselves of those fear-based belief systems, going through whatever processes of imagination and creativity and positive, powerful love for yourselves and each other that you can muster during this time to allow yourselves to really get in touch with your indestructible core and remove the surface features that would be representative of other belief systems that belong to other people that have nothing to do with you. So take this time of sequestering, take this time of isolation, take this time of distancing, take this time of withdrawing into your own environments so that you may be cocooned in a way and in a manner most conducive to emerging on the other side of the eye of the needle as the beautiful butterflies that you all are within. Find your true selves and transform yourselves into these new beings that are sparkling clean and not surrounded by a mist of fear-based beliefs, for they will not pass easily through the eye of the needle, and neither will you if you do not let them go. Now, we would like to introduce a process that you can utilize in your sequestering, in your cocoon, that can help you accelerate your ability to divest yourself of those beliefs that don't belong to you, that are out of alignment with you. So make it easier to pass through this eye of the needle unscathed and come out the other side into a vibrational reality that is more conducive to the type of experience you prefer and more conducive to the continuation of contact with us and others like us. It is a 5-step process, very simple, but some of you may find it to be quite challenging because you are not used to doing these things on a daily basis. But now you have the time to do so, and we would encourage you, strongly encourage you, to take the time to go through these 5 steps for yourself to help you streamline and let go of those things that will not serve you and will not allow you to pass through the eye of the needle quickly and easily and smoothly and effortlessly and joyfully. So pay attention now to this particular process, this particular powerful permission slip of the 5 steps of passing through the eye of the needle with joy, with freedom, with true self-empowerment. Step number 1. Even though, up to this point, from many different sources, you may have experienced people who have done things, said things that are vibrationally incompatible with the reality you prefer, even though you may have found that you are capable of being triggered with your own fear-based belief systems into being someone that you truly don't prefer to be, giving over to judgment, to anger, to fear, to sadness, all of the ideas and experiences that you do not need to experience further, you must allow yourself fully to embrace the first step, and that is to forgive. Forgive all who have transgressed against you. No more does resistance work. No more does hanging on to the past in that sense work. No more does the idea of expecting someone else to fix you, to change you. No more do you need to wait for those to see the error of their ways for you to move forward in freedom and power. Do not wait for them to change. Do not wait for apologies for what they've done. Forgive them and be free. Let go of regrets. Let go of any need for anyone else to give you permission in any way, shape, or form to move forward through the eye of the needle. Forgive them all, no matter what they have done. The second step is to forgive yourself for putting yourself in any position that allowed you to experience the frustration, the anger, the regret, the sorrows. Do not hold on to them. Let them go. You do not need them anymore. Do not judge yourselves for what you have done. It has all brought you to this point. Forgive yourself completely, freely, after you have forgiven everyone else for anything they have ever said or done. You must move on from that state to a different state. It is imperative in order to get through the eye of the needle. You even have it, a version of these two steps, in some of your own religious teachings. And without coding it with religion, it is not our intention to bring you back to that state, but simply hear clearly the first two steps, even in what you have called the Lord's Prayer. Allow yourself to forgive yourself as you forgive others who have trespassed against you. Forgiveness is the key that will allow passage through the eye in the smoothest possible way. So forgive yourself after you have forgiven others. And step 3 is to begin to allow yourself to then truly no longer inform yourself from your past self. You may learn lessons from the past, but no longer wallow in the idea of past events, the past self, and how the past self would have reacted to things, for that is no longer you. Let go of the negative reactions, the negative behaviors of the past self. Do not inform your future from your past behaviors, from your past emotions, from your past thoughts, from your past experiences. Learn from them and bring the knowledge and understanding you have gained from that, but do not be that. Be an observer now of the past, not a participant in the past. Just observe only those elements that you require to apply to your lessons in life so that you will not repeat those thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and experiences. Let go of that personality. It is no longer you. Step 4, begin then to inform yourself, not from the past, but from your future self. It is calling to you on the other side of the eye of the needle. Heed the call. Move forward in the way your future self would. Imagine, visualize that future version of you. Behave, feel, think as that future self. You all have future selves. From your linear space-time perspective, take advantage of the fact that you have set yourself up this way in space-time, that you have anchored yourself into the future, and that it is pulling you toward it through the eye of the needle. Heed it, listen to it. The higher mind calls you through passion. Follow the formula, for that is what the future self does every day and every moment that it can. There is no other breath that it takes. There is no other action that it takes other than that which is aligned with the formula of acting on your passion to the best you can, with no insistence, no assumption of the outcome, and choosing to remain in a positive state so that you can receive the benefit of whatever manifests. And even if that should be something you objectively don't prefer, you know it's there for a reason, and let it serve you by knowing that. Let it show you how it serves you. Just by remaining in the state that you know it is not an accident, that it is there for a reason that serves you. The future self is calling on the other side of the eye of the needle. Let it pull you through easily, swiftly, effortlessly. Anchor to the future self. Inform yourself from the future you, not the past, any longer. And finally, doing all of this, forgiving all others, forgiving yourself, letting go of the past personality, and informing yourself from the future version of you, you can then allow yourself to be fully in the present as you pass through the eye of the needle and beyond. And in that present, in this present time, you will be more and more, effortlessly, in an accelerated way, the true you, the core of your being, with all of the fear-based beliefs stripping away, streamlining you, leaving your raw essence, your indestructible core, the present self, the now self, living more in the now and experiencing space-time as more malleable, more flexible, more fluid, as you become closer and closer, bonding with the vibration in harmony with your higher mind and spirit, and acting upon the earth in that manner. It is absolutely of paramount importance, if you wish to pass through the eye of the needle and maintain your connection in contact with us and others like us, that you strip away now, in this time, these things that no longer serve you. This is not a warning. Do not receive this in a negative way. This is a description of how you can be far more empowered and far more free and far more joyful than you have ever been in your lives if you would but let go of those things that anchor you to the you are not. And cut those ties and snap those cords and free yourself from those chains so that you may pass freely, effortlessly, and joyfully through the eye of the needle in this time of compression and centering and going within to find, to discover, and then eventually express the true beauty of your beings, of your inner light. And we leave you with this saying: they dwell in fear and darkness. Flow to them your unconditional love, so that their inner light may awaken and that they may truly serve all beings on earth. Once again, they who dwell in fear and darkness, flow to them your unconditional love, so to awaken their inner light and allow them to serve, truly serve, all beings upon the earth. Forgive and move on. Forgive and let go. Forgive and be free. Ha'atu, Aveo, our unconditional love to you all this day. Before the window of open contact begins in 2023, again, starting slowly, but definitely crossing a threshold in more ways than one. But today, we will discuss why you are here in physical reality. We understand many of you have many challenges with physical reality as an experience. And we know that many of you yearn to connect more strongly, or at least feel the connection more strongly that you have with spirit. But the idea is to remember that you chose to have this physical experience
for your own purposes, for your own growth, because physical reality, being as dense as it is, a densification, a crystallization, as it were, of spiritual energy, a projection of consciousness, not a place unto itself exactly, but going on within your awareness, is for the purpose of exploring and examining things in a different way, a different time frame that allows you the opportunity, as we have said many times, to discover new aspects, new perspectives of yourself. But this idea of choosing to experience physical reality has many benefits that you can take advantage of for your own personal growth as a soul, as a being, as an aspect of all that is, as a reflection of the infinite, by learning to stay within positive frameworks, positive belief systems, positive outlook, positive expression, positive actions, energetically speaking. You can experience many wondrous things by exploring physical reality in that state of being, in that energy, that will allow you to experience the process of change in a way that will enhance your understanding, enhance your ability in the future, not only to grow for yourself, but to aid and assist others and serve others by having these experiences and becoming familiar with all the different kinds of challenges that you can have while experiencing the concept of physical reality. It gives you a repertoire, it gives you a library to aid and assist other beings who may not be as familiar with that experience, so that you can become living examples of how to navigate the idea of physical reality, discover how it can be easier and easier to give yourself the freedom to choose what works for you, the freedom to understand what is truly in alignment with a positive flow of energy, and to be able to impart your experiences to others who, again, may not be quite as familiar with the idea, or who may be facing challenges that they don't have the tools to transform. So it is very important, not only for your present experience, but also for what you call the future of your planet, that more and more of you truly learn to master the so-called limitations that you have created, that you've set up for yourselves, the challenges you've set up for yourselves while experiencing physical reality, to master them and transmit them, that experience, that mastery, to others in your own way, in your own words, to understand the principles upon which you have agreed to play this game with each other, and to what degree you are following the consensus reality, and to what degree you can allow yourself to move in your own individual direction simultaneously, in harmony, with full awareness that you have chosen this experience, and therefore full awareness of how you can use it to positive effect in many different ways. Allowing your imagination, your creativity to come into full play, to apply that creativity to every experience in your physical reality, to truly transform your awareness and your understanding of your relationship to all that is in this way, so that you can allow all that is to experience all that it can be through the idea of new experiences. Even though everything exists, it is the experience, as we have said, in the relationship, the perspectives that are new, because every single one of you is unique, a unique expression of all that is. And this holds true in physical reality as well. Even more so, in a sense, because you can do so many more things in physical reality than you can do in spirit. Now, that may seem like a contradiction, because we know that spirit allows you to experience greater things, different things, broader things, more expansive things, perhaps, than in physical reality. But physical reality has unique things that cannot be experienced in spirit. Your ability to utilize space and time, the framework you have created in which to experience this concept of physical reality in your consciousness, can be played like a musical instrument in many ways. You can create new orchestrations, new understandings, new relationships of space and time within your consciousness that will create beautiful music within all that is, beautiful new perspectives within all that is. This is an art form, physical reality, and you can learn to master it by following the idea of the formula, cosmic compass, as we say, the idea that there are ways in which you can understand how you are agreeing to play by the game of physical reality and play it in your way uniquely, harmoniously, beautifully. Take advantage of this opportunity. It is a gift. No matter how challenging it may seem at times, no matter how dark, no matter how negative it may seem at times, mastering this has everything to do with how you define your relationship to it, how you allow the challenges that come up in your life to be there for a reason, your reason, to really let go of any negative reflection of these ideas and know that even though you may recognize objectively that something may have been created from a negative space, that none of that has anything at all to do with how you will experience the effects of it in your life and become a living example of how to master and transform limitation into freedom, not only for yourself, but for others as well. Many others need these abilities, need to see in all of you that are willing to do so, how such things can be transformed to positive effect. So it's about becoming teachers, living examples, masters of limitation, so that you can shine forth in the physical world and paradoxically start to dissolve the idea of how solid physical reality appears to be. For again, it is nothing more than a projection of your consciousness, though played earnestly and sincerely to the degree where it seems so impenetrable, so solid. Yet now, because of your increased awareness, your expanded awareness of yourselves as spirit, it is becoming less so, more flexible, more malleable, more changeable, more transformable, more magical, more synchronistic in terms of your experience of what physical reality actually is as a mirror of what you believe to be true. So examine your beliefs, choose the ones that work for you, no matter what the scenario, no matter what the circumstance and situation. Use your imagination and creativity to figure out, how could this serve me? How can I learn something from this that can serve others? Always let that be the first question, no matter what crops up. How can this serve me? Use it that way, and you will turn yourself into a master magician and a living example of what others can also choose for themselves by seeing in you the willingness to know that physical reality was your choice, that you're willing to take responsibility for being in physical reality, and you're willing to expand your consciousness to the degree where you can allow physical reality to be your new musical instrument to play a beautiful song, a beautiful orchestration, a beautiful harmony that will invite and induce others to sing along, to play along with you, and allow physical reality to become something that you cherish, that is really truly a part of you in your experience forever and ever, that you are willing to utilize that way. This is why you are in physical reality. This and many other reasons of your own choosing. Use them well, use them wisely. But be present in them. Be present in this physical reality. Do not worry about the past. Do not worry about the future. Physical reality only exists in the present, just like everything. Be in it right now, as fully as you can be, as boldly as you can be, as lovingly as you can be. Be present and act from that presence. We thank you for allowing us to share this idea with you this day in your new year, your new orbit. And we ask in return, in what way now may we continue to be of service to you? You may begin with your dialogues and questions if you wish.
At one of your live events in Sedona, people saw me and they thought I was the celebrity Frances Fisher, which was really awesome. But as I've traveled all over the globe, people often think I'm someone they know. In fact, I walked into a store and this gentleman walked up to me with open arms and said, "Pat," and he was so happy to see me, but I wasn't Pat. And people will say to me again and again, even after we realize that I'm not the person they think I am, they'll say, "But really, the way you speak and your gestures are just like this person that they know." And I'm wondering what to make of that. It feels like a compliment. It feels really nice, which is great. And maybe that's all there is. But maybe there's something more to it. I mean, when I'm connecting with people, I'm always really excited, like a like a Labrador puppy, to meet people. And it feels like such a good connection, like I'm allowing all that is and source to flow through me and focus on, the best in people and reflect back the best of myself, and all that feels awesome. I'm just wondering if there's something more to it or something that I could use about this thing where people think they know me. Thank you.
Well, again, the idea is that your excitement and desire to be of service in that way makes you a little bit of a chameleon. You will then take on whatever the vibration is that reflects back to them that familiarity, so they feel comfortable enough for you to communicate the energy to them that allows them to move forward in the way that they prefer to. So you're being of service by being a little bit of a reflection of whatever it is they feel they need to be comfortable in accepting that frequency within themselves so they can move forward.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Well, firstly, a big thank you for the opportunity to have this interaction.
And a big thank you to you as well for the co-creation of it.
Thank you. Before I'm going to ask my first question, I want to say that I understand that there are different ways to look at this, and that different individuals use different mechanisms for the creation of the experience of Alzheimer's disease.
Yes.
And you explained that in general, the majority of people that have the experience of having Alzheimer's has to do with them being in denial about their lives, that they wish to forget, that there is something in them that is to them so painful they cannot deal with it.
This is a very, very generalized response, but it is true for many people, although it is experienced in a multitude of different ways.
Okay. Because I was wondering, we call this process also dementia.
Yes.
It almost seems like the personality structure of the people going through this experience is somehow dissolving, and that they are shifting through different dimensions very rapidly.
Yes, all sorts of mental disorders that in some way, shape, or form reflect or represent an alteration of personality, be it the idea you call of dementia or Alzheimer's, or even dissociative personality disorder or schizophrenia. These things have one thing in common, in general, at their core. It is in some way, shape, or form an inability, due to either belief systems or what have you, to not allow different aspects of the personality to harmonize and blend in a coherent way for the reality that they chose to be in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. And I was also wondering, but what's happening on a soul level? How is the soul experiencing this process?
Well, again, it depends upon the reason why a soul may have agreed to have these kinds of experiences, or for the purposes that the soul needs those experiences, or simply in the way that the soul chooses to use them. So it will vary from soul to soul. But overall, the idea is one of seeking integration by creating dissociation, what appears to be disconnection, and then going through the process to arrive at a realization that disconnection is not real, but only an illusion. And that the paradox is, in order to actually have an experience of disconnection, you actually have to be connected. You have to be integrated to have an experience in some sense of disintegration.
Yes, I understand. And can you say that when people go through this process, that they eventually are able to look at the pain that they are trying to avoid?
Some of them do and some of them don't. Again, it depends upon the choices that have been made for this life theme. Many of them give themselves the probability to arrive at that conclusion, but some of them choose not to, and they make their assessments in spirit after the life.
Okay. And I don't know, maybe in general, does the pain has to do with, a lack of self-worth?
It can. In general, again, a very generalized answer. Everyone will have a specific way of experiencing this if they choose to. All pain is the result, fundamentally, of resistance to the natural self.
Yeah, I understand.
Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
I also have a couple of questions concerning the Anunnaki.
Yes.
You mentioned that the Anunnaki were the first to genetically alter the DNA of the natural evolved Homo erectus here on Earth.
Yes, because at that point, the Homo erectus was available and compatible enough through panspermia millions of years before that for them to make the alteration and find enough similarity in their genetics to do so.
I understand. And I was wondering, after the Homo sapiens came into existence, have there been other alterations in our DNA due to other extraterrestrial races?
Yes, especially the Greys.
Especially the
Although they're not really an extraterrestrial race in the classic sense.
No, I understand. But for instance, the Pleiadians or any race we know of, do they made some alterations in our DNA also?
Well, not exactly in the same context. Some have been, by agreement, an energy shift that creates an alteration in your DNA by having you be given a frequency that then you choose to align with to create the alteration. But it's not a physiological manipulation in the typical sense.
Okay, I understand. And you also mentioned that the Anunnaki evolved, but did they evolve into a non-physical?
A few of them have, but basically what you know as the Pleiadians is one of the evolutionary offshoots.
Okay. So are the Anunnaki genetically linked to other extraterrestrial races that we know of? Yeah, you just explained it.
Well, I said Pleiadian, yes.
Okay.
And others that you may not know of.
Okay. Okay. And also concerning what we now talked about, I was wondering if I'm correct in my understanding that the Greys and the human beings have the same Anunnaki ancestors, but that the genetic alteration...
Well, not exactly the same, because the Greys come from an alternate version of reality. So they had their own history of interaction with the Anunnaki, but they're not the same Anunnaki because those Anunnaki belong in an alternate parallel universe.
Okay. Okay. Because I was wondering, I read somewhere that as a result, the people who eventually evolved into the Greys had a different expression of these genetic alterations than the human beings in this timeline. But that makes sense. Yeah.
Although the idea is that the humans of that version of Earth didn't, quote unquote, evolve into the Greys. They mutated themselves on purpose to be able to handle the environment that existed when they destroyed their version of Earth.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I thought, it's a mutation. I thought
it's a mutation.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for this.
Yes. It is the reason why some of their DNA can be compatible with the DNA of humans on your version of Earth and other versions of Earth, is because they actually started out as human.
Yes.
Otherwise, it would be too incompatible to create hybrids.
Hybrids, yes, exactly. Thank you for this.
Yes.
That was what I wanted to ask you today. So thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. Pleasant dreams to you.
Thank you.
So thank you. And I know your favorite T is brevity. So I'll do a really quick recap.
Thank you.
I got diagnosed with AML, which is a really dangerous and aggressive blood cancer. Doctor said, hey, if you don't do aggressive chemo, you're going to die, likely within 3 to 6 weeks. I still chose to be discharged. I did a detox, and then we spoke, and you had said, be open to all forms of healing and just kind of let your life guide you. And I just want to say that was really good advice, which I knew at the time, but it turned out to be really good advice. And yeah, I got through the whole experience in a really kind of flowing, effortless way.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And so in December, we did a bone marrow biopsy, and it showed no detectable trace of leukemia at all whatsoever.
All right.
Testing. So that's awesome. And the real key for me with that was, I think, vitamin C. I think like high dose vitamin C was, I think, super effective.
Was your permission slip.
Right. And so my permission slip, and I don't know how general that is as well.
To some degree it is for many people, part of the general consensus reality, not for everyone, but for many.
Yeah. And you had also discussed with me that these types of experiences often result in like a shift of focus.
Yes.
For people. And I was trying to think about, for me, because I feel like in a way, I mean, I loved my life before and I'm going to go back in a very similar way. But at the same time, I think one thing that came out of this experience for me was throughout this whole process, I was making videos to tell my friends how I was doing and just inform people what was happening.
Yes.
And that's been an amazing experience and I've loved it. And I didn't realize I liked making videos so much.
All right. Well, thank you for teaching yourself more about yourself through that experience.
Yeah. No, so thank you. And so I will definitely continue to do that. And I think I'm going to start a YouTube channel.
All right.
Upload those and like make more videos as I go.
All right. Up to you.
So thank you. And so I had some questions that kind of relate to this experience. I know you don't do health readings, so it won't be that. But specifically where you say all pain is resistance to the natural self.
Yes, in general.
So, okay, I'll give you an illustration, if you will. So say in a parallel reality, which I would perceive to be my past, I am best friends with Buddha, okay? Him and I are best friends, and we're walking down the street. We're about to go somewhere to get some food, not like in a lunch sense, but just sit and then people would feed us because that's how it worked back then. And he stubs his toe. He's like, Patrick, I stubbed my toe. And I'm like, Buddha, you got to let that stuff go, man. What are you resisting? Would that be good advice?
Not necessarily, because as we have also said, and as many people on your planet have said, sometimes there are just circumstances within physical reality that happen because you are in physical reality. Not that you can't gain some insight or lesson from it, but not everything is a 100% dire lesson. Sometimes it's just watch where you're stepping.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because I guess the point I'm trying to make is I understand if, say, you have a expectation something is going to happen and then it doesn't, and you resist that process, then there can be a lot of suffering because of that. Because you say, I don't want it to be a different way, and like I don't want that, and I'm resisting, and it's painful.
That's more what we are referring to when we say that pain is the result of resistance to the natural self, because you are not buying into, shall we say, or accepting your natural flow of how things unfold in your life, and not understanding that things are happening as they happen to give you opportunities to know more about yourself, to have more insight into your relationship and definitions of that circumstance.
Right. Okay. And so that I'm totally on board with. But then does this also then go into, for example, physical pain? So things that so things that I've noticed in my own life, like for example, with this whole cancer adventure that I was on, a lot of people, I think, experience a lot of pain in these types of processes. I had very little. I mean, almost none, I would say.
Yes.
And so then that would then also be kind of a reflection of that, right?
You didn't necessarily have a high degree of resistance to going through the experience because you were willing to be open to the idea that you would learn something that you needed to learn. And so you used it in a way that was, quote unquote, less resistant, therefore less painful.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I have to say I really loved it. Like that might be a weird thing to say, but I really like, it really showed me a lot, and it was a very powerful experience because I felt like I got to stand in my power, kind of decide my own path, and it just...
That's the point.
Yeah, and it just fully worked out. I mean, like full on worked, so it was great. I loved it.
All right, thank you.
And okay, so I have another example for you. So say you're my neighbor.
You mean me specifically?
You specifically.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
not like, but you're a human, okay? But you
all right.
specifically, because I like to talk to you. So you're my neighbor, and I see you in the hallway, and I'm like, oh, hey, Bashar, how's it going? And we go in the elevator, and then in the elevator, I'm like, so, COVID vaccine, are you going to get it? What do you think?
I can't comment on this at this time.
Okay. Well,
You
can I
are in
tell you how I
mid-process.
feel?
You are in mid-process. This is a health issue, and you know we cannot talk about that.
Okay. Well, can I just share some thoughts on it, just from my perspective? And
You may share if you wish.
okay. So this is how I feel about it. I feel, well, I have degrees in physics and math, so I love science. Okay.
Yes.
And I understand that there is a sort of social responsibility component where you say, I may not be in an age group where you're very much in danger, but you want to contribute to the idea of getting herd immunity for everybody. And so it's a public service. And you could also say that, well, I mean, I am at a little bit of risk of dying and maybe less risk of dying of the vaccine. So there's also a bit of a personal component there. But I also feel somewhat resistance to putting things in my body that I feel like don't have to be there. And I don't know exactly what's in it, what kind of toxins are in it. So yeah, I just feel like I see both sides of it. And I'm probably going to get it because I like to travel internationally and I think it'll be required. But I just wanted to get your take on it. So
I have no take on it, as I told you. Everyone must find their own path and be open to deciding for themselves what is the path of least resistance for them based on their own belief systems and what they believe works not only for them but in service to others. It's up to you to determine this. We cannot comment on it.
right. Okay. Well, I will just say I certainly have the belief system that if I get it, which I will likely, I will not have any side effects. Most likely.
Don't be
Resistance to
insistent.
that idea.
Don't be insistent.
Exactly. Okay, this is so good. All right, I have another question. My mom and I actually talk about this a fair amount. So you have often talked about we're transitioning, the splitting prism, different parallel Earths, and so forth.
Yes.
And that not everybody that's here with us right now is going to come with us.
Correct.
At least the one I'm going to.
Correct. And you will not necessarily go to the one that they're going to.
Exactly. And so so we talk about this a lot. There are different theories about how this actually physically manifests. So do we just shift to an Earth where there's less people, or are there like major...
Not necessarily. It depends. There is a version of Earth with less people. But again, you will shift to the version that is representative of the vibrational state that you have created yourself to be. The idea, again, remember, is that there may be other versions of people there that are in the reality you're in now that are simply different versions. And therefore, it may not necessarily be that they have to be less populated, but they may be populated with the same amount of people, but different people who may look the same because they are another version of the people that you were used to in the previous reality, but they will not be the same people, and they will have different approaches and different attitudes and different perspectives that are more commensurate with that particular reality. So it's not a given that the population has to go down, but of course there are some versions of parallel realities where the population is not as high. So yes, that's possible, but again, you'll find that out as you shift.
I bet I will. Yeah, because I feel like there are people that are so away from my vibration, or like where I think I'm going to go.
Yes.
Like, I just like don't see how it's possible even for them to change.
But they don't in that sense. That's what I'm saying. Those people that would appear to be the same people who are different are already in that reality. They're not the same people.
Right.
Just because they look the same doesn't mean they are the same. It doesn't mean the old person changed. It means that you're dealing with a new person who happens to look like the other one.
Right.
Does that help?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And
yes.
Yeah, no, I thought I had so many questions, but now I can't think of anything else to ask. So I think that's it for me today.
Then that is perfect timing. Thank you for your synchronicity and have a wonderful day.
Bashar, thank you so much. I love you.
Our unconditional love to you as well. Good day.
Bye.
Interesting week, actually. I was super nervous all week and trying to come up with different questions to ask. And
Why are
it
you
seems like-
nervous? Why are
I
you
don't know. I
nervous?
get nervous really easy.
All right. Well, why do you choose to have that experience? Do you not necessarily mean that you are simply getting excited?
No, I am. I'm super excited. I think that's why. And I think I put a lot of pressure on myself to come up with questions that can help everybody. And but
Why?
it just because I almost felt selfish to get this opportunity and just ask questions that are more personal. And
It's up to you. It doesn't matter. Again, anything that we discuss will help someone.
okay,
You have to
So-
allow yourself to relax back into your true self. It's not about taking on the responsibility of the world. You can't be responsible for others. They make their own choices. No matter what gifts you have to share with them, it's none of your business what they do with that information anyway, because that's not your life path. Your life path is to simply be yourself, share whatever gifts you have to share, but let go of what other people do with that information, because that's not your business. So remove the
Okay.
weight from your shoulders.
okay. I'm actually curious though, because this week what happened was every question I had, I ended up like running into a video or a book or something like that that answered it. And I know
Yes,
when you ask
that's
me
how
like,
synchronicity works.
it just happened so fast though. I'm like, wait.
That's how synchronicity works.
Okay.
It eliminates the time lag when you are operating on the high frequency of matching the frequency of synchronicity, because everything is synchronicity. So when you're matching the frequency of the physical reality that you're creating, synchronicity works very quickly. You start to see the connections between everything.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's been really fast, so it makes sense.
Yes.
So I guess my question is, one of them anyways, is in December, I had a dream where I was being lifted up into a ship and had like a purple triangular shape below it. Was that just a dream that I was having, or was that a real experience?
It's a memory of an experience,
Okay.
but it takes place in an altered reality.
Okay.
Then
Who
you
was
create
that?
then you create in your physical mind a dream to symbolically represent it, because that's the closest analogy you can create in physical reality. They were hybrid.
Hybrids. Okay. So I am part of the hybrid program. Is that right?
Yes, most people that find us and communicate with us, not all, but most, are part of the hybridization program. Yes.
Okay. I thought so. That was good confirmation. The other question I have is so I really enjoy energy healing.
Yes.
But I don't have any like open clairs, like I'm not clairvoyant or anything like that. So
That
how
you
can
know
I-
of.
okay. I feel like I don't have a lot to offer. I really love it, but I feel like I'm just not able to offer a lot. So is there any way
Again, you have to divest yourself of this idea that you are supposed to take on the responsibility of the world. What you have to give, if it gives you joy, is enough. You have to just be yourself. Stop judging yourself. Stop limiting yourself. You are the one then that is taking that energy away from those that you purport to give it to, by not just simply allowing it to be an action of joy for you. That's what they're going to pick up on. Stop judging yourself for not doing enough.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really bad at that, so that makes sense. I do judge myself a lot, and I put a lot of pressure on myself to get things right. And
Yes, but that means you're actually getting them wrong.
okay. Huh.
So when you just relax and just give naturally and just have fun doing it, that's when you're giving the most. That's when you're doing your best. Just relax and give and share.
Okay.
That's enough.
Okay. Yeah, I'm such a worrier. I don't know why. Since a little kid, I've always worried and
Because you believe that you aren't good enough.
Mm.
You are.
okay. Okay.
Just let it go. Just let it go. It doesn't serve you. Just let it go. You are good enough. Just do what it is you're passionate to do. It is enough. You are enough. Just be yourself. That's all you have to do. Just be yourself. Have fun being yourself. Share what is fun for you to share. And know that's enough.
Okay. I know this. I do know this. It's just, it's harder to.
You do not know it. You do not know it if it's not in your actions.
True. I guess I tell myself, like, I know I'm enough, I tell myself this, but then I guess I just don't believe
That's
it.
not enough.
Okay.
You have to know you are enough. And when you know you are enough, it will be in your behavior, not just in your thoughts. You are enough. Let go. You're helping people. It's enough.
Okay.
Relax.
Okay. And then just my last question I have is, I'm just curious too, whenever me and my mom get together and I do energy healing on her, she says she always sees a little blonde haired boy, and I didn't know if you knew who that was.
It's a connection to a hybrid child.
Oh, wow. So for her hybrid child, or like my hybrid child?
We're going to let that continue to be a mystery for both.
Oh, no. No. Okay. And then, I mean, it seems like too, whenever I do any kind of sessions, that there's a lot around me. Is that true, or?
Yes. You always have help. Just let it through. It's
Okay.
enough. You're enough. The help is there. Just know that it's there. Just do what you do.
Okay.
All right?
Well, thank you, Star. That's it pretty much today.
All right. Aveo.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Hello, Bashar. There was one time when I was sleeping, I just feel like I got into a tunnel. My heart beat fast, and I can also hear the sound of vibration. And the tunnel got brighter and brighter. Suddenly, I just find that I came into another world. And in that world, my mind is very clear, and it seems like that I can know everything. But suddenly, my emotion came. It just drew me back to this world. And these years I tried many times to recreate this experience, but not successful. But every time when I tried it, I feel that my spirit body is floating, and I can also hear the sound of vibration. That's all. I just wanna ask, is there any guidance to the next step when I feel my spirit body is floating? Thank you so much.
Yes, it's not about recreating that experience. You tapped into your spirit self, where you are unlimited, where you know everything. But it's not about just recreating that experience. It's about bringing that experience down to earth. It's about bringing that energy through you by following your passion and acting on it, and bringing that energy to the world in service to humanity. So stop trying to recreate the spirit experience and remember what it felt like. And from that feeling, take the actions in physical reality that are representative of your passion. You are of the correct vibration when you remember how it felt to be in the spirit realm. So when you remember how it felt, then act from that feeling, act from that vibration in physical terms to be of service to humanity by acting on your passion.
Not really in a position to know what our highest excitement is, and the process of discovering our excitement is to just act on the feeling. So I'm just wondering if it's the higher mind that decides what the exciting activity is. Where does that leave free will for us as our physical selves? So it sounds like it's our non-physical self that decides what exciting activities we are going to do rather than our physical mind, or is it a co-creation?
It's a co-creation, but this is a misquote. I have never said that the physical mind can't decide what the exciting activity is. I have said the physical mind can't insist on a particular outcome of the excitement, of the passion. I have never said that you can't decide what the excitement is or recognize it when it comes. Now, yes, the higher mind does bring you, or synchronicity itself does bring you, certain circumstances and opportunities that are attempts to remind you what is representative as an activity of your passion, of your true self. So in that sense, you are still sending this to yourself. It's not that the higher mind in any way, shape, or form is separate from you, it's still you. And you're sending these ideas to yourself, and therefore it's still an exercise in free will and choice, even if it's coming from the higher mind to the physical, because it's representative of what you're saying this theme and this life and this personality is all about. It's just that you're doing it in a convenient way where the physical mind doesn't have to hold on to every single detail of determination. So the idea is that you're still bringing it to yourself with your free will, but it's being brought to you, in a sense, as a physical being, through the auspices and in the style of the overall theme that you chose to explore. And that may seem like destiny, but it's still the product of your free will from a higher level, because the higher mind is not separate from you. It's still you as a unique individual. It's just that the unique person is separated, so to speak, in the experience of a non-physical and a physical component. But it's still you. So it's not eliminating your free will.